you, your families, and your businesses. It's so important that we get somebody that's strong in the 2nd District congressional seat. When Lynn announced that she wasn't going to run, my husband and I had a heart-to-heart conversation. I really wasn't interested in running, but he convinced me that I would be the strongest candidate and work diligently to represent my constituents, because that's what I do now as a state senator. In fact, I won my re-election with 73% of the vote. I represent 6 counties in the 2nd District. They're all contained within the 2nd District. Lynn, Franklin, Allen, Anderson, Bourbon, Miami. It's a very decent part of the 2nd District, and I'm proud of that. I was also formerly the 2nd District chairman of the Republican Party. So I'm very familiar with this area. I know the district well. I wasn't coming to Leavenworth because I'm running for Congress. I've been coming to Leavenworth for years. In fact, we doctor up here. I know I shouldn't tell that, but you do have some good doctors in the area. So it's, I'm a 5th generation Kansan, and I'm very blessed to have strong Kansas values. My parents ran a small agriculture business, a locker plant. I was raised in that locker plant. They instilled in me the values that are important for us. After earning my math degree from K-State, and for you KU fans, my master's in Engineering Management from KU, and my computer science degree from K-State, forget about that one. But I was lucky enough to work in the IT field for over almost 30 years. And one of the projects that I worked on, most notable to everyone, would be at NASA. I was on space shuttle support for NASA. And that was my first introduction to government waste. And it was a big introduction. But it sparked an interest for me. And then later, my father-in-law was in the state senate. We used to go read legislation and help him out with issues, and it sparked an even bigger interest. And so that's what got me going in government. I often speak to high school students and college students, and I ask them, and I'll ask you too, name one thing in your life, one aspect of your life in which government doesn't impact it. Can you name one? Just one. No. So there's the reason we should be involved with our government. And there's the reason that I'm running for office. We're at a crossroads. We have a president who stands for growing the economy and for not growing government. We must support this effort. We must support his effort in building the wall. We must support his effort in shrinking government, putting tax dollars back in your pocket, not increasing the size of government or wasting it on programs. So I will stand strong on the president's values that he campaigned on. Now, if he changes his direction on us, I'm not going to stand with him. But I do stand very strong on the issues that he campaigned on. We need a representative who will speak the truth, the plain truth, and speak it often, and I will do that. You know, we have a tax system that's complicated. If you think about it, how many hours do you spend figuring your income tax? I mean, it's many hours. It's just too complicated. We need to simplify. It was a good move in 2017, but we need to continue that effort with the tax code and simplify it. I was visiting with a gentleman that's helping us out with the campaign. He's a CPA. Some of you might know him, but it was interesting. For 1 year, he collected all the tax receipts, every single one that he had. He had income tax, sales tax, property tax, the whole thing, every tax. Can you guess how much he paid out of the percentage of his income?
65.
It was 70%. 70%. Wow. So I challenge you to do that yourself and find, what are we getting for the 70%? We have to ask ourselves that. We know that security and infrastructure are critical to our nation, and we want to support those efforts. But we must ask ourselves where the rest of this money is going. Like most of you know, my IT background, security is a big issue for this nation. All we have to do is to look to the countries, China, Syria, North Korea. We are being challenged as a country. We need people that will stand strong for our security. I will do that. You may not realize, but a majority of your electronics is made overseas now. We have created a vulnerable nation. We need to take back our country and again, make America great. And we can do that. We can create jobs, we can bring those products home, and our president has started that effort. And I would love to support him in that effort. Also with the infrastructure, agriculture. We need strong infrastructure to get our goods to market. I am in the state legislature, and it was interesting. We had a discussion between our neighbors to the south of us, Johnson County. They said they were tired of paying for the roads and bridges in rural Kansas. And one of the responses was, well, that's fine, we'll just quit sending food to Johnson County. Well, the sad response was, the representative said, that's okay, we'll just go to the grocery store and get our food. So we have a big disconnect on the understanding of how important agriculture is, not only to Kansas, but to our nation. You know, there's been a whispering campaign, my father-in-law's termed it really good, whispering lies about my voting record, about who I am. It's not accurate. There's no way that I am rated usually the #1 freedom fighter in the Senate and have a record of voting for tax increases or fee increases or expanding the budget. That's not who I am. I say what I mean, and I mean what I say. And I will work diligently to represent our conservative family values. I'll stand for questions. I ask for your support, too. You guys have any questions? Yeah.
Where you are right now, you'll probably still do something about it when you move on. But we have no control, really, over school tax, county tax, city tax, and they just eat us alive. Federal tax, you can get a few deductions. But when the school board meets and decides to raise the mill levy, they raise it. County commissioners meet, raise it. I don't know if anybody in Kansas that hasn't raised those mill levies in the last, have they ever gone down? I don't know.
That's a good question. I just had a meeting today. I think I'm the first one that, I'm currently the tax chair in Kansas. I was tax chair last year too. I did not vote for the retroactive tax increase. I did not promote the retroactive tax increase. The bill did not come out of my committee. There's people that do not understand the process. They have stated that it did. The original bill was not the bill that increased your taxes. It was a tax bill, but it was an obscure bill that revenue had asked for. But the final bill did increase your taxes. The interesting thing about the legislative process, but what I get off track, what I've done, and it has not been done before, is I've asked all groups to come in that have an interest in property tax. And they have testified in front of the tax committee. As a software engineer, what we do is we solve problems. We bring in, and I don't know if any of you have been involved in this, but what we do is we start the meeting, we do a pie in the sky. What's the problem? You define the problems, then you look for the solutions, and then you find somewhere in the middle that you can actually afford, because usually you can't afford the blue sky solutions. And so that's what we're doing on the property tax. We have individuals that want your money to grow government. We have constituents that are being put out of their homes. We had a veteran come testify that he can't afford to be in his home anymore because of his property tax. So we're trying to figure out where we can go from there and looking at different solutions. And that's what I'm working on. But at the federal level, I'll work on taxes the same way. Wasteful spending. I've had constituents tell me, it's only a few $1 million that you save the state. Well, just think about it. If 125 state reps and 40 state senators would save that few $1 million, we'd have a cut in the budget, a decent cut. And I do put my money where my mouth is. I asked for a legislative post audit a couple years ago because of the IT infrastructure, the way it was being charged. They not only did the audit, the legislative post audit staff won a national award off of it. There was no oversight and over $30 million in the budget. They were charging agencies and departments, and they weren't supposed to be. We were fined by the federal government. Nobody would have known if I wouldn't have asked for it. So I put my money where my mouth is. 30 million may not seem like a lot, but again, it adds up.
So what makes you the best? Because there's a lot of Republicans, like it's a pretty crowded, like I think there's like 5 of you now, or 6, I can't keep track. But like what makes you the best? Because it's one thing to deal with numbers, but what about when you're dealing with like what we're dealing with right now in Kansas? There's this pretty steep bill. There is no, with the tax bill, you can look at numbers and finagle numbers and figure things out, but with speed, you know what I mean? Like, there are a lot of non-tangible issues that aren't just.
There are several items that make me the best candidate for the second district race. One is I know the district better than any other candidate. Second, I am a 5th generation Kansan. I am very loyal to Kansas and love Kansas. I've got strong Kansas values, as do you guys in this room. Limited government, individual freedom, traditional values, economic development. That defines us. That's who I am. I have a track record at the state Senate and the state House for getting things done. That's what makes me the best candidate.
I just have a comment on the idea of property tax. Just a reminder that 70% of that property tax is determined by the school board. And those are the people that we pay the least amount of attention to during the election.
Any other questions? I'd like to clear up one thing. I know I spoke Monday. There was a group of people and there was a little bit of controversy over the bill. One of the individuals that spoke said that he had introduced legislation and that I had voted for. Well, I went and researched it because I thought, well, I could have made a mistake here. So I went out and looked. House Bill 2109 was the bill that was being referred to. It was an interesting year in 2015. There were several votes on that bill. Well, what ended up happening, and most people aren't aware of it, the bill started out as a judicial bill, and it's a House bill, so a senator could not have introduced it, could not have sponsored it, because it was a House bill. It ended up being put in the tax committee. It went to the floor as a tax bill. It got one vote, and it was not me, but it was the chair of the tax committee at that time. So we sent it back to committee, met at the rail, stripped almost everything out of it again, and sent it to the floor. So we debated the bill again, several amendments on it, and I won't go through all the details of it, but it went through several iterations. It ended up, the final, there was several motions. In fact, one of my motions you guys would love is that we need to stop the fraud and abuse in our welfare programs. And so it required a Social Security number for 1 year before you could collect welfare benefits. If you were a veteran or military, it excluded you, but everybody else had to be in the United States with the Social Security for 1 year. It did go on the bill. There was talk that we removed all sales tax exemptions. It was in the bill. But what happened was the Senate Minority Leader made a motion to divide. He divided the bill, stripped all of that out again. And the bill that passed ended up with a little bit of ratchet down on food sales tax and a few other items. It did pass, I did vote for that version. I did not vote for the version that removed all sales tax exemptions. I would not do that. You may not realize this, but one of the sales tax exemptions for the state, your utility bills, 6.5% sales tax exemption on your utility bills. So I would not vote to, in fact, I have fought that for 3 or 4 years. They keep trying to remove that exemption every year, and I have fought it. So, like I said, I mean what I say, and I say what I mean. And I will work very diligently to represent you. Other questions? I ask for your support, and I look forward to visiting with you later this evening. Thank you.